goes Chrisley as Matt Roth barreled right around the offensive tackle.
The Hawks have learned how to win the big one. Oh, Mike, they've run the table in the Big Ten and are 11-1 for the first time ever.
The Hawkeyes have polished off Florida in the Outback Bowl.
It was Throwback Day Saturday at Kinnick Stadium in honor of the Ironmen. The much heralded Iowa defense was iron solid and threw back Kent State series after series. The Hawkeye offense, revamped and led by first-year quarterback Drew Tate, sparkled more than it fizzled. 39 points in honor of the 39 Ironmen. Niall Kinnick would be proud.
Iowa football with Kirk Ferentz is brought to you by University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics. Changing medicine, changing lives. Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Outback Bowl champions. Mediacom, the exclusive home of the Iowa Football Replay Show. True North, we'll show you the way. And the Eastern Iowa Airport, your ticket to the world. Iowa football with Kirk Ferentz is also brought to you by Carlos O'Kelly's, the home of Hawk Talk with Coach Kirk Ferentz. Berthel Fisher and Company, Worlds of Opportunity. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless provider of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Reference Audio Video, your ticket to home theater. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. And Advance Auto Parts, we're ready in advance.
A fitting way to begin the season. A throwback uniform day, a Hawkeye on parade, the 75th anniversary of Kinnick Stadium. 115 years of Iowa football got off on the right foot, or the right arm of Drew Tate and the right foot of Albert Young, coach. But a lot of new faces in offense, I thought stepped up admirably in the heat and humidity.
Yeah, no question, Gary. We knew we had a lot of inexperienced players playing offensively, much like last year, and I thought we did some real good things, played with good effort out there, and did some good things, especially in the first half. We have some things we have to clean up too now, and it's going to be a big week for us this week ahead.
How about Tate, and then how about the revamped offensive line collectively? How did you think they played?
I thought Drew did a lot of good things. It seemed like he had good command out there on the field, and had a couple throws probably he'd like to have back, some near misses. It would have been nice plays for us, but that's part of getting those first game jitters out of your system, and I think certainly he expended some energy probably prior to the game coming in today. I'm sure he's a little bit anxious, and I think that probably factored into him dehydrating.
Coach, you hate to see injuries to anybody, but Marcus Schnorr has patiently waited his turn, and he dings a knee midway through the first quarter.
Yeah, that was really a tough thing to deal with, certainly. Marcus is just such an outstanding young guy. He's done a great job for us in all phases ever since he got on campus, a hard-working, conscientious guy. And you know, the door opens up for him today to have a great opportunity to have a big game, and unfortunately suffered a knee injury. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, but right now it looks like Marcus may miss some time here.
Kyle Schlicker, all he's got to do is replace Nate Kading. He had an admirable beginning to his Iowa career, and you know what you're getting with the Iowa defense. It didn't disappoint. Let's go to highlights.
It was the throwback game when the Iowa Hawkeyes hosted the Kent State Golden Flashes of the Mid-American Conference. A hot, muggy day inside Kinnick. The Hawks, clad in vintage 1939 uniforms, would give Kent State an old-fashioned whipping in front of a sold-out crowd. In his debut at quarterback, Drew Tate got things going, hooked up with veteran receiver Ed Hinkle.
Eddie Hinkle is close to a first down. He's got the first down. 40, 35. He's got blockers downfield. 20, 17-yard line for Iowa.
The big third down conversion had the Hawks knocking on the door. The Golden Flash stopped the Hawks, however, at the 3, and it was time for new place kicker Kyle Schlicker to put a few fans' minds at ease after the graduation of Nate Kading. The Hawkeye defense, considered one of the nation's very best entering 2004, wasted little time showing Kent State that the going would be tough all day. Later, the Hawkeyes went to the ground game as Tate and Marcus Schnorr carried the load.
Tate straight back to pass. Pump fakes over the middle. Now he's going to try and run for it. He's got the first down across the...
Tate then went to a familiar play for a quick Hawkeye score.
Over the left side of Matt Malloy. He's into the end zone. And for the first time this year, touchdown, Iowa.
On the next series, the Hawkeye defensive front started a dominating performance that would last throughout the afternoon. Into the second quarter, Tate led the Hawks downfield again. Iowa used a balanced attack, chipping away at State for a 10-play, 46-yard drive.
Man in motion is Malloy. Two tight ends. They hand it to Young. They run it Pete McMahon's way, and it's touchdown, Iowa.
In control at 17-0. It was time for the defense to again register a big play.
He's in the shotgun. Throws goes to his right. It is deflected, picked off. Chad Greenway. Chad Greenway comes away with a pick. He may get to the end zone. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. Dives for the goal line.
He's out at the 7.
He stepped out.
2 plays later, it was Tate to Malloy again as Iowa increased its lead. It looked like an ensuing Hawkeye avalanche when, leading 23-0, the Hawks drove to the Kent State 2. But the Kent State defensive back Jack Williams silenced the sellout crowd with a stunning 99-yard interception and return for a touchdown, cutting Iowa's lead to 23-7 at the break. Later, after the Hawkeye defense forced a punt, the Iowa special team, known for big plays the last 2 seasons, introduced themselves again. Into the fourth quarter, it was more McCullum, who contributed with both his legs and his arm. Seconds later, Greenway and Roth were at it again.
And Smith is drilled just as he gets rid of the ball.
A solid victory on a day of celebration at historic Kinnick Stadium.
I think we did fine today. Coach Aiken, I think, took over most of his reins, and I mean, we played pretty well, fitted pretty well, and we didn't run into any big problems, so I think we did all right.
Just because I scored 2 touchdowns, I think I only had 5 yards or something like that, and I dropped the ball. I mean, we got great receivers, and I mean, it's chance every day. I'm just trying to get some playing time.
Those are your only 2.
Welcome back to Iowa Football with Kirk Ferentz. As you say, always enough mistakes to correct after opening day, but 400-plus yards of offense, you allowed less than 100. You can't find a whole lot of fault with that.
Well, you know, there are things we can always improve upon, but I think first and foremost, the effort of the players. The guys are ready to play. They're anxious to play, and I thought they played real hard and with good effort. So that's where everything starts. And you know, now the thing for us to do is really focus in after we look at the game tapes and you know, try to improve some things this week.
Well, on this Labor Day weekend, Drew Tate was workmanlike, coach, in his debut. 13 of 22 for 136 yards, and this key 3rd and 16 conversion to Hinkle.
That was certainly nice to see. You know, we haven't last year we dropped down our 3rd down conversions, and that was a real nice play by both Drew and Ed.
Chenor really ran hard. Marcus, the junior, out of DeWitt until he got hurt. And when he went out, of course, Albert Young came in and did a great job. Here's the first touchdown, the quick slant to Matt Malloy.
Yeah, Matt had a couple scores, I guess, right off in the first half, and has been so steady all along for us.
He had 2 catches on the day for 13 yards, both touchdowns. That's making the most of your opportunities. So we'll see a Tate to Hinkle, that slip screen that we've all become familiar with, and worked again successfully. And then we're going to find Tate to a bevy of tight ends. This one, Mike Follett, great catch, great concentration.
That was a nice job by Mike, hanging onto the ball, difficult catch, a little bit behind him, and Mike's done a lot of good things for us. He's really coming on as a tight end.
That ball was deflected, so a good job it gathered in. That led to a 1-yard run by Albert Young, who had 82 yards and 22 carries.
I thought Albert did a real nice job, Gary. First time out for him playing in front of the crowd, and that was a great way for him to get started.
How'd Malloy get so wide open on this one?
Obviously, they broke the coverage on that one, which is okay with us.
McCullum then comes in for Tate, coach, in the second half. He was 5 out of 8, but I was impressed with his scrambling ability, and he's got good speed.
Eric's a phenomenal athlete. He just, we've always been very impressed with that end of it, and as you know, right now, he's hasn't had a lot of experience, but really was our number 3 guy up until Monday, so I thought he stepped in and did some good things for us.
Here's Clinton Solomon revisited from 2 years ago, making acrobatic catches.
Good to see Clint get involved a little bit. He's had a real good preseason. We're going to need him this year to really step up for us.
Well, defensively, what else is new? Thanks to the mistake by the Kent State receiver, Chad Greenway, dives for the goal line, almost got in, he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, crazy legs Greenway right there. I'll tell you, he's an exciting guy to watch.
Jonathan Babineau, I know, a 5th-year guy, he shouldn't be being sacked with a couple of penalties like he did, personal foul, but he got the fumble recovery here, Coach, and then Derek Robinson gets in on a sack. He had 3 sacks on the day. We'll see Roth and Lubke coming up next. Collectively, real good effort by your defense.
It really was. We were counting on that and not disappointed. The guys, I thought, played with great intensity. Now, we lost a little bit of our edge in the second half. I think we had 3 personal fouls, a couple pass interference penalties. We're going to have to get that cleaned up, too, if we're going to be the kind of defense we want to be.
Well, defenders love to score, and here's Greenway, 2 interceptions, his first touchdown as a Hawkeye, and he got some help from his buddy Matt Roth. He drilled Antoine Smith.
Yeah, Chad almost came away with 2 touchdowns. That would have been too much. I think he'd be unbearable to talk with if he had 2 touchdowns.
What would a highlight tape be without a blocked Iowa punt? This was their best run play of the day, 17 yards by the punter.
I wasn't aware of that, but it was good to see our guys put the pressure on.
Now, Kyle Schlicker, 2 out of 3 field goals, 4 out of 6 point after touchdowns. His grade for first performance.
I thought Kyle got off to a great start, Gary. For the most part, his kickoffs were excellent. The field goal attempts, he did push the one there at the end. And on the PATs, neither of those were really his fault. We had a bobbled hold and then also a bad snap. So I thought for the first time out, he did a nice job.
Plenty of tape to look at and improve on, particularly the 12 penalties.
Yeah, no question. I think the first half was more an issue of us getting in an offensive rhythm. We had a couple of illegal procedures and false starts, but in the second half more so defensively. I think we just lost our edge and concentration, and in a tight ball game, we can't do that.
39-7 the final. The Hawks win. We'll be back after a brief timeout and the play of the week.
Pressure. And here they come again. Low snap. It's blocked. Blocked right back to Brazen, but he catches the ball.
State football, and Smith is drilled just as he gets rid of the ball. It's deflected to Chad.
A 10-tackle day for Chad Greenway. 2 for loss, 2 picks, 1 return for a touchdown. He was part of that blocked punt. And people forget he was a great quarterback in high school up in Mount Vernon, South Dakota.
Yeah, he'll probably be knocking on my door wanting some offensive plays this week, but Chad is just a great football player, a high-energy player out there, and with the combination of he and Abdul, that's a pretty good set of inside backers for us.
Another versatile player, coach, multi-sport star is Tyler Lubke, came out of Iowa City here, a tremendous swimmer in his earlier days. We're going to meet him now.
Tyler's done a great job, and it is an unusual combination, swimming and football, but boy,
You don't worry so much about that.
I would say the hardest part of the state swim meet was singing the national anthem. I mean, it's kind of, you're nervous about singing that in front of so many people. I love to sing. I mean, something I used to do, and unfortunately I don't get to do that anymore. So I pretty much leave it to in the shower.
Jason Manson of Bloomington, Connecticut, a sophomore quarterback on the UI's nationally ranked football team, has been named to the 2004-2005 McLeod USA Starhawks team. The McLeod USA Starhawks program recognizes those student athletes who are a cut above the rest, academically, athletically, or socially.
The most memorable in Hawkeye history.
I've heard a lot of veteran fans talk about that game with fond memories.
39 points on behalf of the 39 Ironmen. Not a bad start to the season.
That's pretty good. Pretty good connection. It wasn't by design, but we're happy it worked that way.
Well, overall, Coach, for an opening day grade, what do you think? Good performances up and down the line on both sides?
We're pleased, Gary. I think the biggest thing we needed to play, we've been practicing against each other for about 4 weeks, and at some point, the guys get tired of seeing each other. We needed to get out on the field and see how our veteran performers were going to play, but more importantly, get some new guys out there, the guys that haven't been out in the stadium or at least haven't played when it counts. And this was invaluable for us. Now the big question is how much can we improve this week? They
always say teams improve the most, particularly the lines between week 1 and week 2, and you'll need that given Iowa State's I don't know if it's a surprising win, but certainly they shut down a really good Northern Iowa offense in a win at Ames.
I expect Iowa State to be much improved. They've got a veteran ball club, a lot of good players back, especially on that defensive side of the football. And I think the key thing for us right now, those axioms usually are true. We have to make sure it is true this week. We need to really improve.
And this is a Cyclone team riddled with injuries a year ago. Obviously, Max got them playing at a high level.
Yeah, and our game with them last year was pretty close until we got the punt block in the third quarter. That kind of opened it up. So, it's like every year. I think this is going to be quite a battle, quite a game, and a lot of interest in it. Obviously, that makes it fun for everybody involved.
Well, we know this. It'll be a sold-out date at Kinnick Stadium.
I'm sure the environment will be great. It always is, home or away. And again, this is, I think, a game that the players on both sides, the coaches on both sides, and the fans on both sides just enjoy being part of.
Well, we'll come back and recap it for you next week on Iowa football with Kirk Ferentz. You make sure you're here with us. Have a great week.